She still misses her husband after his tragic death in a car accident and keeps watching old video recordings over and over again. The phone's battery is about to die, and there's no other phone in the house. There's no electricity to recharge it. It's morning. Her family lives on a farm, far from the buzz of the city. When her son wakes her up, he asks her to call the electricity company so they can send someone to repair it. Taylor is making breakfast for everyone in the kitchen. He serves breakfast at the table to Annie, and soon after, Ramona joins them. Taylor serves her as well. Ramona is no longer the same as she used to be. Her right leg was badly injured in a car accident. Still, they are happy. Then, Taylor sees a woman sitting in their yard. The woman is dressed in dark clothing, her face completely covered. Yet, there's something unsettling about her. Ramona asks if she's lost or needs help, but the woman calmly replies that she was invited and that today is the day she has come to take Ramona with her. As they speak, the woman's shadow begins to move unnaturally, as if it has a life of its own, suggesting that she is not a person at all, but a shadow creature, and her physical form is merely an illusion. Ramona, unsettled, threatens her, claiming that her husband is coming home soon and she should leave their property. But the woman already knows the truth. Her husband is not coming back because he is dead. Hearing this, Ramona becomes furious and warns her that she'll call the police. With no electricity in the house and her phone completely drained, and no other phone available, she rushes to the garage to try and recharge her phone using the vehicle, so she could call the police. Despite repeated attempts, the vehicle refuses to start. Meanwhile, the kids inside the house grow increasingly anxious. When Ramona returns, they ask her why she went to the garage. Without alarming them, she calmly replies that, since there's no electricity, she went to get the emergency light, just in case the power doesn't come back. Taylor doesn't believe what Ramona is saying and starts questioning her. How did the woman even get here? Ramona tells him that she probably lost her way from the nearest nursing home. Still filled with doubt, Taylor presses further. He asks Ramona to find out which nursing home the woman came from and warns that if she doesn't ask, he will. Ramona firmly forbids him from going outside. Frustrated, Taylor places a chair in front of the window to keep an eye on the woman himself. As he sits by the window, Ramona comes in and tells him that as soon as the power returns, she will call the police to take action against the woman. While they are talking, Taylor turns his head for just a second, and in that moment, the woman moves even closer to the house. As she is attending to her wounds, their dog suddenly goes silent. Concerned, she goes outside to check on Charlie, but he's nowhere to be seen. She pulls on the chain he was tied with, only to find it buried in the ground. She keeps pulling it toward herself, but at the end of the chain, there's no sign of Charlie, not even his collar. It's as if he vanished. Maybe the woman killed him, or perhaps he ran away. Frustrated and unsettled, she returns inside. She is inside the house when Taylor begins throwing a ball against the wall repeatedly. Irritated by the noise, she asks him to stop. Taylor tells her that there's a nearby farm and they can drive there to call the police and get rid of the woman. Ramona, who can't drive, firmly forbids him from doing so. But Taylor insists that he can drive them himself. Concerned for the safety of the children, who are still young and not wanting to risk anyone's life, she refuses firmly once again. Frustrated, Taylor grows angrier and starts throwing the ball at the wall again. She asks him to stop, but he ignores her. Finally, furious, she snatches the ball from him and throws it out the window. Annie goes into the kitchen, but suddenly cries out in pain. She stepped on something sharp and wounded her foot. Ramona rushes to her side and quickly takes her upstairs to tend to the injury. Seeing an opportunity, Taylor sneaks out. He grabs the keys to the Jeep and heads outside. The woman is still sitting there in the yard, but as he tries to start the vehicle, she suddenly vanishes. Frustrated by both her disappearance and the Jeep's failure to start, he grows anxious. Then he spots a shadow outside the garage. Assuming it's the woman, he gets out of the Jeep, clutching an iron rod. As the figure draws nearer, he strikes, only to realize at the last second that it's Ramona. She narrowly avoids the blow. Shocked and furious, Ramona yells at him and orders him to get back inside the house. Inside the house, Ramona is furious, while Taylor keeps pressing her with questions, demanding she do something to get rid of the woman. Meanwhile, outside, the woman is slowly getting closer and closer to the house. Tension builds as Taylor accuses Ramona of hiding something about the mysterious woman. In frustration, he calls her mad. Enraged, Ramona throws a bucket at him. Taylor storms off and heads to retrieve his father's shotgun, locking himself inside the room. Ramona bangs on the door, pleading with him to open it, but he doesn't respond. Knowing the room has a second door, she hurries toward it. But as she moves, she slips and falls hard to the floor. Chaos erupts throughout the house. Taylor has the gun in his hands. As Ramona gets up and enters the room through the other door, Taylor quickly locks her inside. The doorknob is broken. There's no way for her to open it from the inside. Meanwhile, Taylor steps outside, clutching the shotgun, and points it at the woman, shouting that if she doesn't leave, he will shoot. The woman rises calmly and begins walking toward him. Strangely, her shadow moves faster than she does, gliding unnaturally across the ground. She seems completely unbothered, while Taylor stands frozen, terrified but still aiming the gun. Suddenly, her shadow creeps behind him. With a swift, silent motion, the shadow mimics the gesture of lifting its hand, and the wind chimes near the porch rattle violently, catching Taylor off guard. He turns, startled and distracted. Seizing the moment, the woman begins to play mind games. In a cold, haunting voice, she tells him that his mother is lying, that she didn't tell them the full truth about the day their father died in the accident. Ramona is still locked inside the room, calling out to Annie for help. She asks her to pick up the broken doorknob and place it back into position. Carefully, Annie fits the outside part in place, and by connecting it to the inside mechanism, Ramona is finally able to turn the knob and open the door. As the door swings open, she finds Taylor standing right in front of her, eyes filled with anger and confusion. He immediately questions her, demanding to know what she has been hiding from them. Ramona takes a deep breath, her voice trembling, and finally tells the truth. On the day of the accident, it wasn't their father who was driving, it was her. The crash was her fault, not his. As Ramona confesses the truth to Taylor, a ball is suddenly thrown inside the house on its own. Annie sees it roll across the floor and picks it up, puzzled. Outside, the woman's shadow is silently creeping closer to the house. Curious, Annie walks into another room. There, the chandelier suddenly sways, nudged by the woman's shadow. Annie glances up at it, unaware of what's happening. Then, the lamp on the table shifts slightly, moved again by the shadow. Hearing the noise, Annie turns toward it, her attention now drawn to the strange disturbances. Suddenly, she sees the shadow of the woman creeping across the ceiling, moving directly toward her. Terrified, Annie screams. Taylor and Ramona rush toward her, but before they can reach her, the shadow begins hurling objects across the room. A knife lifts into the air, poised to strike. Thinking quickly, Taylor grabs the curtain and pulls it shut, cutting off the light. Instantly, the knife falls to the floor, harmlessly clattering against the wood. They realize that the woman's power lies in her ability to cast shadows. Without light, she is powerless. Acting quickly, they rush toward the attic, the safest place with minimal windows. Just as the shadow lunges toward them, Ramona barely makes it through the door before it strikes. They slam the attic door shut behind them. They are in the attic, trying to catch their breath. But from one of the small windows, the woman's shadow creeps in. Suddenly, Annie screams. She's being dragged across the floor by her leg. Thinking quickly, Taylor grabs a painting and slams it in front of the window. The moment the light is blocked, the shadow vanishes and Annie stops moving. Just as they begin to recover, they hear someone pushing against the attic entrance from below, but it's blocked by the shotgun laid across the hatch. Then, faint footsteps echo across the walls, followed by soft creaking on the roof. Suddenly, thud, a heavy, muffled impact. The noise stops, replaced by an eerie silence. It feels like someone or something has entered the attic through an invisible passage. In the dim light, they sense a figure moving within the shadows, but they can't make out what it is. Taylor grabs the emergency flashlight and shines it toward the darkness, only to see the old chair the woman had been sitting on outside, now mysteriously placed inside the attic. A wave of fear rushes through all of them. He turns the flashlight slowly, then freezes. Right behind them, the woman is standing, motionless. Panic sets in. Ramona immediately begins swinging at her, but each strike passes through empty air. The woman retaliates, hurling Ramona across the attic. Taylor quickly hides Annie behind some boxes and runs to help his mother. But the woman flings him across the room with terrifying force. Annie, now alone and trembling, picks up the flashlight from the floor. She shines it ahead. The woman is walking slowly, steadily toward her. Ramona is motionless. Taylor is too shaken to move. Frozen in place, Annie stares at the figure approaching her. As the woman kneels down, Annie does the only thing her heart tells her. She wraps her arms around her. In that moment, both Annie and the woman vanish into thin air. Silence fills the attic. Only then does Ramona manage to move again, crawling toward where Annie had stood. Taylor, dazed and shaken, stumbles toward her, his voice breaking as he calls Annie's name. As they walk out of the attic, Ramona notices a flickering light coming from one of the rooms. She stops Taylor and tells him to stay back while she checks it out. Cautiously, she moves toward the room. As she steps inside, she's stunned. Her husband is lying on their bed, looking just as he did before the accident. Overwhelmed with joy and disbelief, she rushes to him, lies beside him, and closes her eyes, letting herself drift into the comfort of the moment. But then something feels wrong. She opens her eyes slowly and notices the tattoo on his arm. It's reversed, as if seen in a mirror. Her joy turns to horror. He isn't real. She tries to move away, but before she can react, he pulls a black cloth over her face. She gasps for air, struggling and thrashing under his grip, suffocating as everything fades into darkness. When she opens her eyes again, she finds herself outside, in the exact spot where the woman in the yard had stood. Confused, she looks ahead and realizes something terrifying. She is now the woman in the yard, muttering to herself. Suddenly, she feels the veil covering her face begin to loosen and slide down. As it falls, her vision shifts. Now, she is looking down from the attic, watching her children and herself. Suddenly, a beam of light flashes toward her. Annie is holding the flashlight, slowly walking toward her in the same haunting manner the woman had earlier. As she reaches out, Ramona finds herself instantly pulled from that strange place. Now back in her bedroom, holding Annie tightly in her arms. Taylor bursts into the room. Ramona tells both kids to go outside immediately. She then takes the shotgun from Taylor's hands and points it toward the shadow in the corner. From within the darkness, the same woman emerges once again, whispering, "Today is the day." Ramona, steadying her breath, asks one question: "Will my kids be okay?" Receiving no answer, she heads outside to give her children a final goodbye. She embraces them tightly and instructs them to go to the nearest farm and wait for help. Once they leave, she returns to the attic, gun in hand. The woman is standing beside her, silent and still. Ramona raises the shotgun and points it at her, ready to end it. But just as she's about to pull the trigger, her eyes fall on the kids' toys scattered nearby. Her grip loosens, her resolve wavers, and in that moment of compassion and clarity, the woman vanishes. Then she hears familiar voices. Her kids are running back toward the house. She rushes down from the attic and meets them at the door. They hug tightly, relief washing over them. And just then the power returns. The lights flicker back on, and Charlie, their dog, comes trotting up the path, tail wagging. The movie ends on a hopeful, emotional note. What do you think? Was the woman a ghost or a manifestation of Ramona's inner darkness? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this.